Hi everyone, I'm Jennifer Birnbach, and we're here to do a crash course on real estate syndication so that you can understand all the basics and everything that real estate investing can do for you to give you time freedom and job freedom and location freedom or any kind of freedom potentially that you're looking for. Let's start with a basic definition of syndication. It's the transfer of something for control or management by a group of individuals or organizations. And another way to say that would be a group of people come together to purchase a property or asset that they wouldn't be able to afford on their own. My journey in real estate syndication started about 8 years ago. This is a photo that was taken around that time. That's my daughter, Sophia, and my dog, Dusty, and my husband, George. And that was the day that we were hiking. We live in the Pacific Northwest. That's our typical weather through a lot of the year. And right around that time, I'm starting to listen to podcasts and read books. And I had known about real estate investing, but just really hadn't got the bug yet, but I had it right around that time. And the message that I got from everything that I read and heard was that a good thing to do would be to start buying single family homes. And so after doing a homework that I felt was adequate, I jumped in, I did that, and I purchased 8 properties in 3 different markets in a very short time. It was only about a year and a half. So that was good. And they turned out to be good purchases, and they did cash flow, and they did build equity every month as the mortgages were being paid down by the tenants. My net worth was going up, and it was good. But 2 things were obvious to me right away. One was that this was not passive investing. I'll explain more about that in a minute. And the second was that my net worth and cash flow were going to build very slowly if my plan was just to keep acquiring these single family investment properties. So I was looking at how do I scale this and make this move faster? I'm having a great time with this. It's working. I just want to do it a little bit faster. So I scaled by next investing in smaller multifamily properties. And this is where I want to give you some detail on what that looks like. So these are the steps that were involved. I had to work with a broker or multiple brokers, it turned out, and spend time finding the properties. I was spending hours each day looking at different markets and properties. I live near Seattle, so it's very difficult to purchase cash flowing rental properties here at this time in this market. So I was drawn to looking at other markets, some places that I had never even been, I had to consider as potential investment locations. And in my case, I found new construction fourplexes in Florida where the numbers looked really good. So I was already wanting to head toward multifamily, and these fourplex properties allowed me to do that, but still purchase the properties on my own because a property that has 4 units or less is still considered residential, not commercial, and you can buy it with conventional financing. To prepare to purchase the properties, I had to put them under contract, and I had to pay the earnest money to the sellers. I had to secure a lender. I had to arrange for insurance on the property. And then I had to monitor the progress of the building during this new construction phase. And that took much longer than expected because everything had slowed down from the pandemic. To prepare for the closing, I had to undergo an extensive credit check, including providing access to all my banking information to the lender. I thought the paperwork was never going to stop. I had to hire a property inspector to confirm that I was buying a quality product. I also had to pay the appraiser hired by the lender so that they could confirm that they were getting the value that they thought they were helping me purchase. And then I had to, of course, put down 25% of the purchase price of the properties. And then after the close, there's more work, right? The journey's just beginning after the close. Now I had to pay monthly mortgage payments, and I had to do a monthly review of the statements from the property managers. And even if you've got the best property managers in the world, they've got to be monitored. They are unlikely, or it's unlikely that you'll ever find a property management group who cares about your property as much as you do. And so even with the really good ones, you've got to monitor them and spend time with the profit and loss statements each month. And then when you own rental properties, there are always decisions to make regarding rent increases and property improvements, the occasional eviction that none of us like to do, but sometimes happens, and so on, over the years that you own the asset. So the bottom line is locating properties that will perform well takes real estate acumen and time. And generally, you have to look at dozens of deals just to find one good one. It can take years to get a sense of a specific market and what kind of properties perform well. Passive investors just outsource this to the syndicators. They outsource the acquisition process to the syndicators, who are really good at uncovering quality deals because that's what they do most days. Most syndicators partner with experienced operators who employ a team of deal sourcing professionals looking at hundreds of deals a year across many markets. So everything happens much, much faster when you've got a team behind you like that. By owning a share also in many different syndications, if you choose to move into it in that regard, your fortunes then don't rise and fall with just that of one single asset. You kind of have it spread out over a number of markets. Now let's look at who is involved in a syndication. There's a term or phrase that you'll hear a lot if you listen to information from the multifamily space, which is that multifamily investing is a team sport, and this is absolutely true. So there are two parties involved. One, of course, are the syndicators. They're also called general partners or sponsors, and shortened up to GP. And this is an individual or company that's in charge of finding, acquiring, and managing the real estate. They have a history of real estate experience and the ability to underwrite and perform due diligence on the property. And our second group involved in a syndication are the limited partners, shortened to LP sometimes. And this second group are the investors who invest with the sponsor, and then they own a percentage of the real estate. So the limited partners or investors don't have to be involved with acquiring the property, arranging the financing, managing the property. This is what's outsourced to the general partners. Once they decide to be in the deal and go ahead and invest, they just get to sit back and enjoy the benefits while the general partners do that work. So you invested your money, the general partners start the work and do the work, starting with the acquisition of the property and creation of the business plan and continuing with asset management during the entire life of the project. During all those years, they'll provide quarterly financials and K-1 tax documents to the investors. We'll look more at tax benefits in another lesson coming up. They will maintain clear and consistent communication with the investors. This is actually one of my favorite pieces in what we do, is having the community always be informed and understand everything that's going on with their investment. It's a team sport, and that is the fun part. Then the syndicators also manage the property managers closely for maintenance of the asset during the time that it's owned. And finally, the general partners are going to frequently analyze the markets to determine the best time to sell the asset for the benefit of the investors, and that's typically right around the 5-year mark. Now, how do you know that syndication might be good for you and that it might provide you with this freedom that we're all looking for? Well, you may want to invest in real estate, but you don't have time to do it yourself. So a lot of people who understand the benefits of it, but also have a full-time W-2 job, now can do both at the same time by outsourcing a lot of this work to the general partners. You may want to invest in physical assets that you can see and drive by, watch the improvements as the general partners begin their work in improving the property that the syndication group has purchased. You may want to have those types of physical assets more than paper, like stocks. You may want to invest in something that's more stable than the stock market. You may want the tax benefits that come with real estate investing. And truthfully, this is one of the reasons that, and sometimes the only reason, that a lot of people go into real estate investing is for those tax benefits. You may want to invest with your retirement funds. You may want to receive those regular cash flow distribution checks. And you may want your money to make a difference in a local community. And this is one of the aspects of real estate investing that I'm not sure if it's talked about enough, is that if we go into a community and we purchase a property that hasn't been taken care of, and we give it an enormous facelift, and we repair and improve all the units, and we increase the value of that whole neighborhood for everyone, not just the people living in the property, but we increase the beauty and value of that neighborhood for everyone. So that's what I wanted to cover in this first lesson. We're going to move on and look at types of investors and opportunities. You can reach us anytime at Blue Ring Investors. There's our website, www.blueringinvestors.com. You can reach us by phone. We also have more free information on the site. You can join us there anytime, or come with me to the next lesson on types of investments and opportunities. Thanks for joining me.